Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I tried to do an episode last week. It was like last Friday, I think. I tried to do it in my work truck with my lapel mic, and that thing is it was a bogus purchase, man. It was the worst thing I ever bought because it just doesn't work out the way you actually want it to. Um, but anyway, so this is Political Sanity. I'm your host, Adam Bruton, coming to you live on X and also on Riverside. This will be released tomorrow or late tonight on YouTube and Spotify. Possibly put it on Facebook, Instagram. I'll probably clip it to Instagram, clip it to TikTok. But yeah, username is at Adam J Bruton. I'll probably put it there down at the bottom of the screen here. It's been a wild. It's been a wild week, guys. This is so stupid, and it's only Monday. We thought we were going to get the Epstein list, and we totally did not. We got fucked. See, I already screwed it up. I already swore. Well, we got screwed, essentially, by the current administration. I don't know if we really got screwed by the current administration as much as we did by the grifters. I will say grifters, and yes, I'm going to call you all out by name. Liz Wheeler, Libs of TikTok, I don't know her actual name, and DC Drano, Rogan O'Hanley, took a minute to, they were all invited to the Oval Office, I believe, with Elon, and they sat in on the meeting of what they were supposed to basically just get information, and they all got a binder. There were a couple more people who got binders, but they got binders, and they took that as an opportunity to walk outside smiling, and they showed off their binders as a photo op for the press. Now, call me crazy, okay? You can call me crazy all you want to, but these were crimes against children, okay? These kids had unspeakable things done to them when they were on that island that were associated with Jeffrey Epstein and his friends, and we all know who they are. But the information that was leaked was like, it's old information, and none of this is new. This is all public. This is public information way before this was even brought to light. Like this, most recently, the people who haven't been informed or haven't done their research, like this goes back a long time. I'm not quite sure how long it goes, but I discovered it first within the last 5 years, 6 years. And for that to be paraded around and put in front of us like as a phase one, it's kind of crazy, and it's a little bit disrespectful. It's insulting to the American public's intelligence. Like, what's the big secret? What are they trying to scrub? Is it Israel? Is it Mossad? Is it elites who are trying to pay to have their names redacted? I mean, look, all the information, like Chris Evans was on the list. Michael Jackson was on the list, I think. Naomi Campbell, obviously. Mick Jagger was another one. There were a bunch of names. I didn't get a chance to go through all of it. It's just kind of a humongous mess, and I think that's what gets people to kind of give up in a way, because you're not going to sit there and you're not going to read all that BS that's in those lists. And obviously all the phone numbers and the addresses in the black book were redacted for safety reasons, I'm assuming. Which I don't understand. If they're wealthy people, they should be able to afford security, if someone's that crazy to go after these people. But back to the original point, none of this was new. The thing is, you can look up the flight logs on DuckDuckGo or Yandex if you're not too afraid of getting a virus on your computer. You can find a PDF of the flight logs, but it's not going to be like the way that it was when they released it this time. The way it was in the binder, it was all handwritten. Now on the PDF file that you can find online, it's like 100 pages or 200 pages. It's a lot. It's a lot of flight logs, and it's all just typed out for you. Obviously, Bill Clinton's on there. Naomi Campbell's on there. which is kind of weird because it makes you think, maybe there's a little bit of a connection between, not maybe, there is a connection between this and the Diddy tapes, I'm sure. But for them to make this like this big discovery was actually, it just left a really bad taste in everyone's mouth. And to see these grifters who come in, and I say grifters as a very heavy handed term because it's like you guys have millions of followers on social media across all social media platforms that you're involved in: Instagram, YouTube, X, Facebook, if you use that, TikTok as well. You're monetized and you're making money off of posting the same thing within this conservative echo chamber that is your platform, basically. And you've been put on by the owners of I mean, I don't know if they've really been put on by like Zuckerberg or anything like that, or the owner of YouTube, but in a way they kind of have been elevated by Elon here to just, I don't know. It's like a parrot act kind of, because they're all saying the same thing. They all post the same pictures. And this isn't even the people that I named. This is a lot of other people, like, and I'm not going to name them here just because it's like, I'm not here to bust your guys' balls. That's not the whole point of this episode. But to talk about, you guys all post the same headlines and you post the same pictures, and you say, is this true? Thoughts on this? And I quote, what are your thoughts on this? Or, they're trying to get a little more creative now, but it's like a lot of us smaller community people, we've already seen through it pretty much for the most part. And, my wife asked me this question, and it was crazy. It kind of took me by surprise because I had to look at where my mindset was coming from, because I was pissed off when I saw them walk out and flash that for the press. It was insane just to witness that. And it was like, what the hell is going on? Why are we seeing this happening right now? But my wife asked me a question, and she said, is this, would you, like me, would I have gone if I were invited? I'm not a big level creator. I'm not a huge success. I'm really not. And I had to think for a second, because I honestly, like, I think anyone would say yes. Like, you would go, if you were invited to get this information. But those of us that I guess I'm thinking of here in my head is like, I have a few people in mind as to who would be invited. I feel like they would have handled it a little bit differently. Like, they would have called it out for what it was. But we can't change that. What happened, and it just leaves a really shitty taste in everybody's mouths. But, I had to really look at myself as to why I was actually upset. It wasn't really a place of jealousy. It was more like a place of disdain and kind of disgust in a way, because this information needs to be out there. And we've waited so long for this. And for them to not just come out right out and say it is, I'm not going to say it's shocking, because it's really not. I've gotten so good at being cynical when it comes to the government. It doesn't matter what side it is. It's like, they're going to screw you no matter what. And I was in a space last week with a few people that, are within the community that I'm a part of. And I basically just stated that it's hard not to be cynical, and I didn't think anything was going to come of it. And, nothing really did come of it. I'm not saying I'm right. And I hate to say this, I told you so, because it's like, I wanted this information as well. It would have been nicer to be able to report on what actually happened. And I mean, I guess none of us will really know what actually happened. None of us were really there, thank God. But to see these people paraded in front, like, oh, this is, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to go live tonight, and I'm going to show you guys what's in here. And everyone just looks at it and they're like, yeah, no, we know all this already. I think another creator did a side by side of the Black Book and what was released after Epstein had, unalived himself, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I don't think he was murdered, but Actually, no, that's wrong. I totally said that backwards. He didn't unalive himself, and I do believe he was murdered. Sorry, guys, it's really late for me. But to see this happen was, I don't know. It just leaves a shitty taste in everybody's mouths for sure. There's nothing great about it. There's nothing grand. There's nothing. It was not an aha moment. It was like a very. I can't get over the fact like that one lady or whatever the hell her name is, the Libs of TikTok account owner. She just came out just all smile, like grinning ear to ear. It's like, you are a disgusting fucking bitch, dude. Like, that's insane. That's crazy. Like, what are you smiling for? Honestly, what are you smiling for? Is it because you got the information first? It was like, oh, I got it. Or was it, I guess I don't know. I don't know what's going on in these people's heads, but to make it into a publicity stunt is disgusting, to say the least. Maybe we'll get the information. I don't know. I don't know. I've lost enough sleep over this in the last 6 years to just, like, I had to walk away from the QAnon stuff. I had to walk away from the Pizzagate stuff. I never really forgot about it, but I did have to take a step back from watching documentaries and TikTok videos about it and YouTube conspiracy videos. It's like it was starting to really take my time and really screw with my mental health, which is kind of a pussy ass thing to say, but it really did. In a way, I feel like I'm kind of an empath when it comes to that. When it comes to kids, when it comes to kids being affected by the acts of evil people at the hands of evil people. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe not. I don't want to put my I don't want to show all my cards yet. So I don't know. It's a crazy thing. And there's a lot of high level people that are on that list. And I feel like they're all panicking. There's got to be something going on. There's always something going on. But when it comes to this, it's like, I mean, yes, I voted for the total dismantling of the government and exposure of the truth, but we're not really getting anywhere with it. I mean, the USAID stuff is good. I don't have a problem with corruption being exposed, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's like, this is nothing to screw around with. They didn't give us the full list of USAID and what that really entailed, but they gave us a few snippets of it. But with this one, they're just regurgitating the same information, and I feel like I think I read somewhere that it was there's like an insider that's screwing it up, and I think it's Comey, if I'm not mistaken. I think Alex Jones said that, but I don't know. I think he's a good, reliable source of information. I mean, he was wrong about that one thing, but everything else he was pretty dead on when it came to anything else. But who knows? There was something else I was going to say about this, and I lost it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think everyone's just excited to see if Tom Hanks is really on there or not, because he never really admitted it. But the way that he disappeared was kind of crazy. After the Golden Globes, when Ricky Gervais hosted, and the way that Hanks disappeared after that was insane. It was kind of a weird thing. But who really knows? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to get the answers, and I'm not being hopeful that we will. I would like the answers, but who the hell are we and what do we know? But this stunt that they pulled was really crazy. I mean, it in my mind, it's hard because it makes me think that, like, I can't trust this administration. Should I trust the administration in the first place? I don't know. Should we? I don't know. I mean, should you ever really trust the government? Probably not. It's probably just people trying to line their own pockets, I'm sure. But for this kind of a stunt and this kind of a scam was really crazy in a way. Let me pull up the next thing we're going to talk about. So, Volodymyr, is that his name? Volodymyr Zelensky went to the Oval Office. He was invited by the Trump administration to discuss a mineral deal. And it didn't go the way that he wanted it to. I think he was just coming to ask for more money. That's what it seems like. I could be wrong, but I could be correct too. Oh, yeah, so here we go. Let's give this some volume here. It's a 49-minute video. Screw that.
We had little negotiation spat, but that worked out great.
There
I think
was
for,
one that I found on
countries,
TikTok.
I think for the world,
that
actually,
was better.
beyond
It was
both
like a 10-minute
countries.
video. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, obviously. I suppose we could do the timestamps, though. Let's see. Let's give it some volume. I'm going to try to skip ahead to the good part. If you guys haven't already seen it, it gets pretty wild. Wait a minute. Hold the hell up. We really just sent them more arms too? Or we're going to? Why? Oh boy. Okay, here we go. So this is the clip that everyone's really seen, like the 10-minute clip is like more towards the end of the meeting. Here we go.
Hey, I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was
he
not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong-
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this
Have you
conflict.
ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's
I will
respectful
answer.
to come to the Oval Office
I
of the
will
United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You
Don't-
will not
you
have
gotta-
a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're
dictating.
in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel
I'm-
very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not in a
Mr.
good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was-
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
Yeah, you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What you're-
III.
what you're
You're
speaking
gambling
about?
with
What you're
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country,
I'm
that's
with all
backed
respect to
you
your
far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
you're
America
speaking about.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying-
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
except
times
that
thank
there,
you
except
to
that-
American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
what if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
What
She's
if
asking, what if
would
Russia
agree to
breaks the
break
ceasefire?
for the-
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
But they have
Okay?
broken the
What if they
ceasefire.
broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
But what-
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks, sir.
I need the back of your
We'll see. I don't know.
Guys, come on, let's move, please.
Right, witnessing there a playback conversation, the meeting with President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, very tense moments there inside of the Oval Office, going back and forth there, the Ukrainian president, the U.S. president, and also Vice President J.D. Vance. We are expecting later on today to have a joint news conference between both of those world leaders. Live Now look there in Washington, D.C. We'll see you back here after this break.
Obviously. There's such a huge communication barrier there. So bad, dude. It's so bad. You can't help but laugh. And I suppose some people would take it as like Zelensky's being smug. You know, he's acting a certain way, and but I don't know. You hang around enough people who are not from America, like you kind of understand, like, if English is not his first language, you know, that it may seem like he's a little condescending, he's a little bit rude. He was kind of rude, though. It sounded like he threatened America in a way. So, I mean, I don't know. What the hell do I know, right? But that was a disaster for a meeting. That was absolutely crazy to witness that. It's pretty funny. I mean, but it's a little bit contradictory how the liberals right now are parading behind Ukraine and we stand with Ukraine. It's like they were literally just the bad guys, like back in 2020. And now they're the good guys that you want to stand behind. First of all, screw NATO. We don't like our defense spending, America's defense spending compared to the other countries that are there. Let's look that up, shall we? Let's look that up and see if we can figure that out. We'll screen share it right away. Sorry about breathing in the mic. Okay, let's see if we can. Hopefully it's still going. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi, you guys. It's absolutely crazy. It's kind of a pain in the neck. And I'm also just learning too, so. Is it sharing? Yeah, it must be. So, anyway. Let's see what we're spending. I did look this up a while ago, but I just want to refresh to see how much we're actually spending. Difference in defense expenditure. Why did they spell it that way? Let's see. I like to use AI for this, but this is going to be a big old freaking mess, dude. Nobody has time to look through that. Some people do. I don't. I'm not going to. BBC. The NATO homepage, I feel like that would be the best information. However, yeah. This is from 2025. But it's an article, so I don't know. So here's a graph. Why is America not involved in this? Yeah, they're not even accounting for America. Okay, so what else does the U.S. do for NATO? There's got to be more. NATO's annual budget and programs come to about 3.8 billion. What the fuck just happened? I just jumped down. Stupid computer. What else what about the cost of running NATO? The annual budget and programs come to about 3.8 billion. Is it euros? $4.1 billion USD overall. And there's an agreed cost sharing formula to pay for the running things such as civilian staff and administrative costs of NATO headquarters. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the defense spending. Three biggest contributors to this are US and Germany at 16% and the UK at 11%. The US used to pay more than 22% of these running costs. So the thing is, we're spending more, we're funding more of this for these countries, and it's like, dude, if we were bombed tomorrow, like in America, who would come to our aid? Who would come to our aid? Do we have any German bases in America? No. Do we have any? We have American bases in America. And then I think it's some astronomical number throughout the world that we have American bases, like U.S. military bases across the world. I want to say it's in the 200s, but that's a lot, man. We're essentially... So these are the top 5 U.S. overseas troop deployments. Japan is 52,000, almost 53,000. Germany's 34, almost 35. South Korea is almost 24,000 deployments. Italy, it's about closer to 12,000. And the UK is about 10,000. So we have people stationed. We have troops stationed on deployment right now in these other countries. Just so, obviously, I'm all for helping our allies. I'm totally for that. But when you start funding them with taxpayer dollars, it's insane. I remember when we bought this house, when I was about to lock in the mortgage with my mortgage broker, the guy who set it up for us. It was 2022, and the war had just started over in Ukraine. And I remember when he said, we had to, obviously, when you buy a house, you have to commit to it, and then they'll lock in your mortgage at your interest rate and what it's going to be, what your payments are going to be, obviously, after the closing costs and all that BS. He told me, and I quote, he said, because it took you so long, because we were still deciding, because it took you so long to, obviously make up your mind, your interest rate is going to go up to like 5.4%. It went from 4.5% to 5.4%. And I asked him why that was. And he went on and told me it was because of what happened in the Ukraine. And I asked him, I said, what does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with me? I live in America. I don't live in the Ukraine. I don't live in Russia. What does that matter to me? And he just said, I don't know. It's just kind of the way that things go. So it's like, even back then, that was when it started. Our interest rates were going up. Maybe he was misinformed. I don't know. Maybe I was misinformed. I have no idea. But it's wild to even think that, like, why would that affect what we do here and the bills that we pay here? It's a crazy thing, because at the end of the day, America helps America, and America also helps everybody else. Invade the world, invite the world. Numbers by country. That would have been the best way to look at this. We're always learning something new, right? In 2024, this is AI overview. In 2024, NATO members spent a range of amounts on defense from 1.28% to 4.1% of their GDP. The U.S. spent the most, followed by Poland and Estonia. NATO defense. Top NATO defense spenders. Poland is 4.1%. Give me some numbers, dude. Give me some numbers. I don't want percentages. So Poland is paying more. Estonia is paying about the same. Countries that didn't meet the 2% target: Croatia, Portugal, Italy, Canada, Belgium. Canada, imagine that. Luxembourg. Sorry, no shade on my Canadian listeners at all. It's a joke. Luxembourg, Slovenia, and Spain. They're all like in that 1%, little above 1%. I read somewhere that U.S. is paying. We paid the most in like 2018, though. It was astronomically higher than anybody else. So to think about like this kind of stuff, it's a queer thing, that's for sure. But again, at the end of the day, like, who's going to come to our aid if some shit pops off over here? No one. Nobody's going to. And that's kind of a shitty thing, because I don't know. It sucks, that's for sure. But they obviously sent. I didn't know they sent. Or President Trump committed to sending arms to Zelensky and the Ukraine. That's actually, it's kind of wild, and it's a little bit disappointing in a way. But all right, moving on. Let's talk about something else. Casey Anthony, if anyone knows that, Casey MF Anthony is on TikTok and Substack, which is crazy. You know who Casey Anthony is, right? The woman who chloroformed her daughter and suffocated her with duct tape and then left her in the trunk of her car for days at a time just so she could go clubbing. She was tired of being a mom, you know? Tired of being a mom. Those crazy kids. But, Yeah, so she's back on TikTok and she's doing a series on like some law bullshit, being her daughter's advocate. It's like, dude, you can't be your daughter's advocate. You admitted it later on that you did it, and your parents covered for you. What kind of parent does that for their kid? I would never cover for my kid if they unalived my grandchild. I'm like, dude, lock you up, throw away the key, you freaking psychopath. But so she's back on she's on TikTok and Substack, probably trying to make more money. That money ran out. But she has 46,700 followers on TikTok alone. And all I can think to myself is, did you guys forget what she actually did? But did I miss that? Or did that actually happen? I'm pretty sure that actually happened, that she did all that. And now, everyone just is so quick to forget. Nobody forgave OJ, and he did it too. It's a crummy, shitty situation. It's very weird how she's given this platform, and no one was expecting this either. This was kind of a weird left field type thing, and yeah, I don't know. Casey Anthony, dude, what the hell? Did she serve any time? I don't even know. Could take a look. Take a look and see if she did. Probably speared trash along the highway. Like, oh, the judge was like, oh, that's not so bad. I have kids too. I totally get it. Ugh, good grief. Just redonkulous, as my kids would say. There's a lot of documentaries about this lady. Sorry, not girl, lady. How old was she? Dude, what? How old was her daughter? Ooh. With credit and time served, Casey was released on July 17th, 2011. Florida Appellate Court overturned 2 of the misdemeanor convictions on January 25th, 2013. She's been out for a hot minute. She's been out for a minute. Ugh. She was acquitted, so that usually means you did it. Let's read about it. Let's read about that. Viewer discretion is advised for this next part. If it's something you don't want to hear, then you don't have to listen to it. So the death of Kaylee Marie Anthony, she was 3. Not quite 3. She was like 2.5 almost. She was almost 3. Kaylee Marie Anthony, born August 9th, 2005, deceased on June 2008, was an American toddler who lived in Orlando, Florida with her mother, Casey Marie Anthony. Oh, they have the same middle name. Cute. Born March 19th, 1986. 5 days after my birthday. Although she's 8 years older than me. Yeah. And her maternal grandparents, George and Cindy Anthony. On July 15th, 2008, Kaylee was reported missing in a 911 call made by Cindy, who said she had not seen the child for 31 days. "31 days and you lived with this child and you just now reported it. Fishy." According to what Cindy told police dispatchers, Casey had given varied explanation as to Kaylee's whereabouts before eventually saying she had not seen her daughter for weeks. Your daughter's 2.5. You haven't seen her for weeks. She's no longer living. Okay? That'd be like me leaving my 2.5-year-old home by herself or outside for 2 weeks and then assuming that she's going to be okay by the end of it. That doesn't make any sense. Kids are helpless, man. Like you can't leave them alone. Obviously, that's not the point here. But at that point, it's like, if you're a cop and you're listening to this, like, if you have kids, even if you don't have kids, you're like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? You haven't seen your kid in weeks? You're just now calling after 31 days? What's the matter with you? Casey later explained, or later called police and falsely told a dispatcher that Kaylee had been kidnapped by a nanny on June 9th. The story keeps changing. Casey was charged with first-degree murder in October 2008 and pleaded not guilty. Is it pleaded or pled? The P's are very strong on this microphone. On December 11th, 2008, Kaylee's skeletal remains were found with a blanket inside a laundry bag in a wooded area near the Anthony family residence. Investigative reports and trial testimony varied between duct tape being found near the front and mouth of the skull. The medical examiner listed Kaylee's cause of death as homicide by undetermined means. Undetermined means. Anyway, they gotta label it as something. State of Florida sought the death penalty in its case against Casey, relying largely on circumstantial evidence. The prosecution alleged Casey wished to free herself from paternal responsibilities and murdered her daughter by administering chloroform and applying duct tape to her nose and mouth. Casey's defense team, led by Jose Baez, chiefly focused on challenging the prosecution's evidence, calling much of it fantasy forensics. How? The defense stated that Kaylee had drowned accidentally in the family swimming pool and that George had disposed of the body. What a freaking freaky ass family, dude. How? On July 5th, 2011, a jury found Casey not guilty of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter of a child, but guilty of 4 misdemeanor counts of providing false information to a law enforcement officer. That's all she got. That's all she got. With credit for time served, Casey was released on July 17th, 2011. A Florida appellate court overturned 2 of the misdemeanor convictions on January 25th, 2013. The case attracted substantial attention from the public. Yeah, I remember when this happened. It's crazy. How could you just let someone get off like that? Like, it's so nuts. To see, like, okay, so the kid goes missing. Right? Kid goes missing. And then the grandma calls first. I haven't seen my grandchild in 31 days. I'm a little worried. I'm a little bit worried that I haven't seen her in 31 days. It seems a little bit long, don't you think? It's a little long. It's a kind of a stretch. It's like a month, you know? And then Casey calls. Did she call or was she questioned? I can't remember what they said. Oh, okay. So Casey had told her mom. I don't know. She, whatever. I haven't seen her in a couple weeks. No big deal. No big deal, right? No big deal. I haven't seen her in a couple weeks. NBD, mom. Mom, you're such a drama queen. I haven't seen her in a couple weeks. And then she later calls the police and tells them that her child had been kidnapped by a nanny on June 9th. You don't think, maybe you would have told him that? Maybe you would have told the police that back in the day, back like right after it happened? Like, what, you thought you were never going to get caught? No, that's exactly what it was. She thought she was never going to get caught. And guess what? She's still walking free. Like, she's still out there. She's on TikTok, for crying out loud, and she has 46,000 followers. It's probably more than that now. She probably broke 47 because there's a bunch of idiots out there who don't even realize what the hell it was that she did, and she killed her own child. This is probably going to get taken down for me talking about this, but I don't care. I don't fuck around when it comes to kids. Like, that's absolutely crazy. For someone to just be a piece of shit parent, it's crazy. And I think I've said this before in an earlier episode. Any fucking dumbass can be a parent. And that's kind of sad. That's kind of sad that any moron can be a parent. Like, God blesses you with these kids and you squander on it, or you're just a selfish human who's evil and you take your kid out, like, and then you lie about it. It's nuts. I mean, it's tough. You know, it's a really, really tough situation. It's a tough thing to think about because it's like I don't want to think about those last moments. As a father, it's painful. Like, I would do anything for my kids. I would fight a lion for my kids. I would do anything for them. And I would never ever think twice about like hurting them maliciously. Or even hurting them, period. You know, it's kind of but there are people. You hear about it all the time. You read about it all the time. These pieces of shit that, like, oh, I didn't want to be a parent. I wanted to just go in the club. I wanted to go do ecstasy and suck dick in the bathroom. It's like, okay, well, you know, you can still do that. Just get a sitter. You know, don't be a moron about it. But obviously, some people just don't think. And it's sad. It's really sad. That little girl, you know, she would have been like, how old would she be? She would have been 20. She would have been 20 this year. Her birthday is the same birthday as my son's. She would have been 20. That's nuts. That actually blows. And because, you know, she was cursed with a terrible mom and grandparents, apparently. The grandfather disposed of the body. Like, where was the dad during all this? Oh, I think he was part of it, wasn't he? He was pretty busted up about it, as he should be, rightfully so. But anyway, I can't believe she's back on TikTok trying to give like legal advice on Substack. Like, isn't Substack like a thing where you can get paid for content? It's not OnlyFans, but it's Substack. I don't know what Substack is. Let's look and see what Substack is, shall we? Let's look at Substack. See what the hell that is. I mean, I think there's people who are older than me that are on Substack. Substack information. Let's see what we got here. Substack is a subscription-based platform that lets writers publish newsletters directly to their audience. She's getting paid? She's getting paid. So let's look at something else. Let's see what else. Let's see how many Substack. Come on. Now, let's see how many subscribers that Casey Anthony has on Substack. Casey Anthony Substack information. Oh, this is absolutely crazy. The gaslighting is unreal. This is Casey Anthony's header. It has been more than 16 years since my name has become a house. Since my name became a household one. Everyone seems to have an opinion about me and about my life. I am an advocate. Let's read this. Let's read this. This absolute dog shit, dude. This is such a lie. It has been more than 16 years since my name became a household one. Everyone seems to have an opinion about me and about my life. I am an advocate, a researcher. These are my words. This is my real life, Casey Anthony. 1.6 thousand morons, 1,600 morons that subscribe to her. Do you have to pay for it? You can just read all this. Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll read the top two. It was one day ago. The presumption of innocence is a sacred right afforded to all individuals arrested in this country. That is not an opinion. It is a fact. We are plagued by a rush to judgment before someone even steps foot into a courtroom. Once a verdict is read, however long the process takes, the public must trust that the system worked the way it was intended. You are entitled to your opinions, not your own set of facts. You, as the general public, will never know the full facts of a case. The media will never tell you the full truth. They will tell you what you think and how to feel. Educate yourselves. Stop spreading hate. If tomorrow you woke up and were arrested, accused of a crime you didn't commit, or someone close to you were to be, wouldn't you want for you/them to be treated fairly and just? It's not that complicated. Dude, hire ChatGPT to write your stuff for you. You sound like an idiot. Are you referring to yourself? Here's the thing. She's trying to make this a generalized statement, and it's not. She's trying to make this appear as a generalized statement. However, she's totally talking about herself. Everyone knows that she's talking about herself. We're living in a time, this was 2 days ago, we are living in a time when we are told by political heads of state that we can say and do what we please, and with the help of social media, people tend to act accordingly. Unfortunately, with the current political climate, we are coming to find out that is simply a facade. Many of us knew this long ago, but more individuals are finding out the hard way. Free speech is not truly free. Having the right to speak your piece does not give you the true privilege to say whatever the fuck you want. Now more than ever, your privacy and your words are not safe. Every single thing that you say can be used against you, regardless of your intentions. Intentions in the eye of the law do matter. So simply a reminder, what you say matters, and the intention behind the things that you say also matters. She's so stupid, dude. She writes. She repeats herself so much, dude. What's crazy to me, you obviously have to subscribe to read more or log in for more. I wonder what is her price? What's her price for subscription? That's stupid, dude. Oh, man. It blows my mind because I know of one creator who's on Substack, and it's like, dude, if she's writing this stuff, I can only imagine what Brooklyn Dad Defiance writing on here. It's gotta be the wildest shit I've ever heard in my life. It's so funny, dude. Oh my god. But it has been more than 16 years since my knee became a household one. Since my knee. I think she meant to say name. Oh my gosh, dude. And I can't believe they're actually people. I'm not typing in my email to that bullshit. What am I, stupid? So dumb, dude. Casey Anthony, man. Ooh, boy. Ooh, doggy. That's nuts. Yeah. She's read 24 things. Who's following her? Or are these people that she's following? John Cleese. Typical. Joanne Reed. Oh, God. Yikes, dude. I mean, misery loves company, you know? The Women Post. How feministic of you. So, John Cleese and what's Blue Sky? Anon News? Okay. I don't know, man. Wowzer Bowser. That's a crazy. I'm probably going to get in trouble for showing that, but that was too good. It's too good, man. It's way too funny because there are people who are so stupid and they're actually going to read that. But I don't know, you guys. Oh, man. It's getting late. I do appreciate you guys kicking it with me on this live stream, though. This is actually kind of fun. This is actually kind of fun to talk about this. And I'm not laughing about, you know, what she did, and there's not a joke behind it. I know I was kind of I was doing a role playing thing where I was talking about, you know, the situation, but it's tragic nonetheless. And I'm not trying to be insensitive or a dickhead or besmirch Kaylee's name. You know, it's just it's a crazy thing to have to read that and, you know, to understand that. So, but reading her Substack was that was wild, because like she thinks she has some sort of a moral high ground, and it's like, you're probably paying like what, $1 a month maybe. She's probably charging like 10, but I don't know. I think it was Anthony Cumia that put on his X page that he shared the video of her, Casey, talking, and he said, "OnlyFans or we don't want to hear it." Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. You know, she became a celebrity after that. It's like, it's not a flex, you know. You killed your kid, and I don't know. It's a nuts thing. It's crazy. But anyway, guys, this has been really, really fun, and I do appreciate every single one of you who have tuned in and stuck around for this. Yeah, this is Political Sanity, episode 23. I appreciate you guys being here. Bye, everybody.